I can just tell you this, if you nominate me, I'll get elected, I'll serve, and we won't even be discussing these issues. We'll be discussing your issues. You're not gonna have to worry about my conduct. I'll conduct myself in a way you can be proud of. I'll conduct myself in a way you can tell your kids, that's somebody that you should emulate, and we will have success as a result of that.
We're about a week away from the Iowa caucuses, and Ron DeSantis is now taking shots at Donald Trump. And by shots, I mean implying that his conduct is acceptable. And I guess the implication is that Trump's are not. He's not saying it. He's not specifically attacking things that Trump has said or done. He doesn't want to do that because then the MAGA world might turn against him. But he'll say that kids will look up to him. I don't think that's in the cards necessarily, Ron. But Ron does have to make big moves, okay? He's trailing Trump in Iowa by 30 points. So that's pretty rough. So both he and Nikki Haley have got to try to shake the boat a little bit, see if they can get something to happen. And DeSantis has apparently found some areas that he wants to criticize Trump on and some that he doesn't. Some where he feels free and some where he feels hemmed in by the political situation. So he did say Democrats want Trump to be the candidate. They're gonna talk about all the legal stuff, January 6th. That will be what the election will be all about. You don't want it to be a referendum on Trump in the past, which is the closest he can come legally to criticizing Trump on trying to overthrow the election. He'll say the Democrats want to talk about it. He can't talk about it because then that implies that he thinks that Biden legitimately won the election. But he's found sort of a shortcut. And he has actually found policy that he can disagree with Trump on. Here's a little bit of that.
Do you think Donald Trump is not pro-life?
Of course not. I mean, when you're saying that pro-life protections are a terrible thing, by definition, you are not pro-life. When you say that you want to have a federal law at 18 weeks or 20 weeks that would override a state like Iowa that has enacted pro-life protections, that would mean more abortions, not less abortions, because very few abortions are happening that late anyways. So he has flip-flopped on this issue. I don't know if it's because of political convenience or this is all where he always believed in, but here's the thing. Some issues are pretty fundamental. How do you flip-flop on something like the sanctity of life?
I don't know, I can think of a few different ways. Ron DeSantis can think of a few ways. He can stress how anti-abortion he is and then not really give a damn when kids are being gunned down in his state. He can talk about abortion on the one hand and then he can allow over 80,000 people to needlessly die of COVID in his state. You can flip-flop in a few different ways, Ron DeSantis, just stretch your mind a little bit. But anyway, I wanna go to our panel. Nina, he is attempting to pitch Donald Trump, who of course is the guy who brought you the Supreme Court that overturned Roe v. Wade, as being not sufficiently against abortion. What do you think about that as a strategy?
I mean, he's grasping. And Donald Trump is running away with this election, and the man is just throwing stuff at the wall at this point to see if it can stick. And the sanctity of life, and I'm so glad that you named a few of those things, John. I'm thinking to myself, this is the dude that wasted Floridians' taxpayer dollars to fly migrants out of the state into Martha's Vineyard, using them as political pawns. This is also the dude that believes that black enslaved people gained valuable skills under slavery that then they could use. I mean, this is this dude right here. It just, the man, he's not going to win the primary. And it's really quite telling that former President Donald J. Trump is running away with this primary election, even with everything that he has hanging over his head. These people cannot advance beyond this man. And Ron DeSantis is a coward. Just a flat out coward. And I know I'm leaving out one other thing I wanted to say about him. Oh, what my other point, John, I wanted to make. And this is the man that waged war against Disney. Want to get into a fight with Minnie and Mickey Mouse, talking about he wants to be somebody that somebody's kids can look up to. Ron DeSantis, I got a clue for you, baby. It is not you. And he is not going to be the nominee for the Republican Party, just not.
I think that's the easy money at this point, 100%. Jackson, what do you think?
Yeah, not only is he not gonna be the nominee for the Republican Party, but he's also lost a lot of his popularity in Florida. But just generally speaking, if you just look at the beginning of that, even before he got to the abortion, he should have had that type of strength and fervor from the very beginning of the primary election. It just would have looked better. One of the biggest reasons that so many of these candidates can't beat Trump. One, can't nobody Trump but Trump. And that's the most important thing. Nobody can Trump but Trump. But two, they don't really try. They don't look like they try. They look like they're trying to be his VP. But at the end of the day, Donald Trump is just a man. And if Ron DeSantis would have been able to bring that type of strength early on, he was the one who was projected to beat Trump in the first place. He had the red carpet laid out for him. Now, again, we got the policy stuff where he's slipping up, and he himself is a big disaster. But I think that, it's just constant examples of too little, too late. The Republican Party or the establishment allowed Donald Trump to take it over, and now they really can't do anything about it.
100%. Yeah, they really don't. They don't seem to have any interest in doing what it takes to actually beat him. It reminds me of there was the character in The Office who was going to put himself up for manager, and he said he doesn't really have any hope of getting it. He's just going to give it the old college try and then be graceful in defeat. I think it was Andy. That's 100%. This is Andy energy from Ron DeSantis, except he will not be graceful in defeat. I have a feeling that when he steps off that stage, there's a lot of tears that you don't get to see as he takes off his heels.
Thanks for watching the video, guys. We also love it if you hit the join button below, because that makes you a member, and members allow us to be independent, honest. We can be as progressive as we want, no corporate media influence, and that's all because of you guys. We love doing the show with our members. Hit the join button, become one of the Young Turks.